The leaders of China and North Korea stage a secret summit just weeks ahead of President Trump's meeting with Kim Jong-un. Can this be a positive for U.S. stocks? GDP is revised up to 2.9% for the fourth quarter of 17. Will that momentum continue? Small cap stocks are about the only bright spot on the relative rotation graph, and my Easter message to you. Do you know what's in your portfolio? If you don't know, you should. If you want to know, we can help. Here's what's moving the markets and your money. I'm Charles Brown. It's Wednesday, March 28th, and this is CB3 on 3.
At CB3 Financial Group, we don't just manage your assets, we become one of them.
In political influences, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un traveled to the Chinese capital, his first trip outside his own country since coming to power, on a mission to strengthen ties with Beijing, ahead of his planned summit with U.S. President Donald Trump. During the secret visit, Kim met Chinese President Xi and other senior officials to discuss bilateral ties and the tensions now on the Korean peninsula. Mr. Kim's diplomatic outreach to China follows a U.S. tilt towards a tougher line ahead of denuclearization talks planned for May. Here's my take on the political implications for our investments. There is no way this meeting would have occurred without Donald Trump influence. World political landscapes change when the U.S. president makes it clear that there is going to be a new world trade equilibrium, and the Asian economies are taking notice. And stock markets become volatile with the uncertainty of these actions. Mr. Trump has clear priorities: enhance U.S. trade interests, protect U.S. corporate intellectual property, and encourage our Asian partners to get on his bandwagon. Just yesterday, the Trump administration announced a new bilateral trade agreement with South Korea. Long-term, his success in these initiatives should strengthen our portfolio holdings even as the market continues to be bumpy here in 2018. In fundamental influences, U.S. gross domestic product, aka GDP, a broad measure of the goods and services produced across the U.S., rose at a 2.9 annualized rate in the fourth quarter. Earlier estimates were only for 2.5%. Now that followed growth rates of 3.2 in the third quarter and 3.1 in the second quarter, the first two back-to-back 3% plus growth quarters in years. Consumer spending was also revised higher, further showing that Americans are not curtailing their expenditures. And U.S. shale oil production continues to expand across our country, further strengthening our trade leverage. Here's my take on the fundamental implications for our investments. At 2.9% GDP, that's really close to 3 consecutive quarters of 3% growth in the U.S. economy. That's a sustainable level of growth, and that's great news. This week, one of our viewers reminded me that as U.S. shale energy production continues to expand, OPEC will soon have a very real problem with U.S. oil's developing dominance of fossil fuel production. Folks, the fundamentals continue to indicate that U.S. economic growth under the current administration's leadership is increasing. In technical influences, some of you have asked about the special graphics I use to show market activity. So here's a shout out to Julius DeCampanier, the founder of the Relative Rotation Graph, and the team at Optima Analytics, the developer of this great charting tool I use to develop those RRGs. Right now, the Russell 2000 small cap asset class is pressing northward in the improving quadrant. Small caps really need to push into the leading quadrant to help the U.S. stock market. As well, the only sector with any momentum right now is the industrials. To me, it appears the market is pausing here, looking for more leadership. Certainly, the tech sector, with Facebook declining and facing legal problems, is not helping us at all. And now, my Easter message to you. For Christians around the world, this is Holy Week. This year, Good Friday and the Jewish Passover both occur in 2 days on March 30th. Regardless of your faith, I hope you will be able to reflect this week on the many gifts God has given you and the sacrifices necessary to allow this blessed life we have here in America. It is my sincere hope that this week will be a time of deepening faith in your life and a strengthening of the relationships that are most dear to you. And that's CB3 on 3 for Wednesday, March 28th. What's in your portfolio? If you don't know, you should. If you want to know, we can help. I'm Charles Brown, and at CB3 Financial Group, we don't just manage your assets, we become one of them.